Blog Talk Radio.
I'm your host, Terrence, with my co-host, Tamu P. How you doing, sister?
I'm good, brother, and peace to all y'all out there in Blog Talk Radio land. Thank you for coming in and listening to us once again.
And we did some maneuvering. I know we've been getting a lot of calls and emails saying that the sister Tamu has been muffled because of how the studio is set up, but we did a little maneuver, so hopefully you guys can hear a little clearer on what we have to say. So today's topic is the thievery of human organs, trafficking, selling, and who's buying. All right? So anything, what's going on, T, that you want to, before we get into anything that you want to talk about?
Just one thing, not last week, but the week before, I spoke about one of our ancestors, Ahmad Soko Toure, one of the revolutionaries from Africa. I misspoke, and I said he was the president of the Ivory Coast. He was the first president of Guinea. So I just want to always, if I make a mistake, I like to correct myself. So I spoke on the brother in the book that Ahmad Soko Toure wrote was Women in Society. It was Women in Society was the particular essay I was speaking about, Ahmad Soko Toure, and he was the first president of Guinea, just to clarify. Okay, so yeah, that's all. I just wanted to do that.
Sounds good. And I know that I was telling everybody the email to email me your businesses, your books. Well, I've been giving you guys the wrong email. I don't know how it slipped my mind, but it's not. It's LLCEI 777, not LLCEI 78. So that's a mistake on my end, and I'm sorry to say that if someone had emailed me the information, I apologize, and I will get back to you. If you email me back at LLCEI 777. All right. Once again, it's LLCEI 777. So I apologize for that. But one of the brothers who I do know who emailed me on my original email, the brother name is Benjamin, Brother Benjamin, and he has a mechanic shop. And it's called Brothers Auto Care right here in Sacramento. And the slogan is the care. His slogan is the care you can trust. So he has $15 oil changes. Bring your own oil and any type of light repairs or maintenance repairs that you need done. This brother can fix it. How do I know? Because he done worked on plenty other vehicles that I know, and I haven't never heard any complaints from this brother. This is a good brother. He just started his own business, and that's what we need. A lot of brothers starting their own business, and his business is booming. So you can call for an appointment at 916-889-0059. That's in the Sacramento area and all surrounding areas, Oakland, Vallejo, Fairfield. This is a good brother. You won't be disappointed, I tell you, and he's cheap. So I know everybody likes that. So 916-889-0059. And once again, you can email me your businesses or your books at LLCEI777 All right? So we appreciate it. So you know how we do. We always start you off with a poem, and then we do a quote. And this poem here is called Black Oil. This is coming from my book, From My Thoughts to Your Thoughts. You can go on Ex Libris, Amazon, Barnes & Noble to pick up this book, From My Thoughts to Your Thoughts. It's called Black Oil. Black oil is what keeps this planet we Homo sapiens call planet Earth on its axis. Black oil is the richest fossil fuel from prehistoric organisms. Their remains lie and wait patiently in the dirt or at the bottom of the ocean, a river, or even a creek. Under the bottom of an old rusted barrel slave trap or a chest of gold and shining silver. Some call it oil money, dirty money, or even watered down money. But to me, it's our money. Better yet, our currency. Most ghastly and dark faces that are greedy and vile, so-called kings and queens of the New World, want to make you and I out of a price. From bondage to physical freedom, you still pay for items and work for them. Dumbed down in your thinking posture with no intelligence to lean on to, you carve your way out with stupidity and stand strong with blackguard. They are zeal over the combined issues they place against you. They need your black oil to finish making this new world order complete, keeping you in the dark with no knowledge, which means you can't speak. Stand up or stand out, your ears and eyes are wide open, but you are still deaf and blind. Not just in hearing and sight, like a copper statue, you stand there unspoken. Everyone passes you up, steps over you, and brushes you off with no hesitation or denial. They use your terms, definitions, and your language to take your place, to confuse you like a startled snake. No subterfuge to help or persuade you into a better land filled with sundials and tools, or books, utensils, love, family members, and no fools. They have been able to make you all threadbare and ashamed of you, put fear in your hearts and deceived you too. Very subtle in their ways, but they are still confused. And to be followed by their first and second born, and their livelihoods are still carried on. Instead of being an embankment, you float like a feather in the water, going whichever way the underneath current moves you around and out, just like your lovely mother. They're embellishing things to try and make it funny. When they stare and laugh at you in your face, they say amongst their acquaintances, this isn't even funny. All this complaining they're doing, I'm still controlling the new world, getting bloody, dirty, watered down money. They have been able to put so much dirt on your face, can't seem to clean it up until you look up in space and say to yourself, we need a new breed of warriors like you and me. Someone to stand up to fight and shout, not to be deceived or persuaded about what they are talking about. To take the powers head on and emasculate them until they are all gone. Black oil. So that's it.
Well, man, brother, that was deep. That was really deep because, you wrote this a while ago, and it's so relevant to what we're about to delve into right now as we're talking about organ trafficking, So, wow, it's like you a prophet at times, really.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. We all building one pyramid at a time. You know what I'm saying, sister? So we're doing it. So the quote is, the ultimate tragedy is not the brutality of the bad people, but the silence of the good people. Martin Luther King. So let's go ahead on. Let's get into it. And let's talk about some organ stealing. So if you don't know what organ stealing is it's the theft of human organs. So let's see, you have more than 78 organs in your body. So, but the main organ is the skin, your melanated skin. Then you have your brain, you have your heart, kidneys, your liver, large and small intestines, your pancreas, and your stomach, right? So, but you have to realize this stuff hasn't just started. I'm sorry, Sister T, what you about to say?
Well, I was going to chime in and say when it comes to organ thievery, I think Martin Luther King's quote here is very important because it is the silence of good people. Because you have to think about it. In order to take somebody's organ out, you have to be skilled. It's not like you get in a chef from any old restaurant to cut people up and take their organs out. Somebody with skill, somebody who's been trained, somebody who took the Hippocratic Oath. Somebody who took the Hippocratic Oath is illegally participating in stealing people's organs.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so I just want to point that out, and I also want to point out that we say stealing, but in actuality, in many cases, there's people who willingly give up their organs. There's people who will give up their organs to get to America. There's people who will give up their organs to get a green card. So I mean, it's a very profitable field for a doctor who may be looking to pay off some loans or get some extra cash, or somebody who's not really taking their role as a professional, a surgeon, serious. Someone who's not taking their role as a surgeon. You're supposed to be an upstanding person, but you can't be taking your role serious if you're going to participate in this, to stealing people kidneys and livers or whatever, And so I did want to just point that out, that it's not just necessary thievery, but that people are willingly giving up their organs. They willingly are doing it. Anything to get to America. It's a film I wanted to tell y'all about, because when we first said we were going to do this topic, it reminded me of a film, brother. There was a film called Dirty Pretty Things. Now, came out at the early part of our millennium. It's funny to say millennium, but it did. It came out at the early part of our millennium. And I don't know if you saw Hotel Rwanda. Remember Hotel Rwanda?
I remember
Hotel Rwanda. Remember the wife? Her name, the lady who played the wife. She was also in Secret Lives of Bees. Her name is Sophie Okundo. I think that's her name. But she's in this movie called Dirty Pretty Things. And in this movie, they're talking about illegal immigrants in Britain, and they related to organ trafficking. There's a brother in the movie. He's from Nigeria. He's in Britain illegally. He's a surgeon, though. And as he works as a cab driver, but, some bad people find out that he's a surgeon, and they try to coerce him in illegally taking people organs. And the people are, giving up their organs to get green cards. And that's
What's the name of this movie?
It is Dirty Pretty Things. Dirty Pretty Things is the name of the movie. It's a British film. But I'm sure you can Google it. It'll come up. It may even be on Netflix. But I remember seeing it, and it stuck with me because organ trafficking is real, and there's all kinds of stories that we don't really hear about. But I just want to point out, desperate people do desperate things, and somebody who's abused their liver or who's abused their kidneys or their lungs, instead of trying to correct their behavior and energize and heal their body, they rather they rather go through whatever means to just keep alive. But they won't change their behavior and their lifestyle. Because in many cases, as quiet as it's kept, all these people getting these organ transplants, some of this is preventable. Some of it is preventable if you would change your lifestyle. If you would change your lifestyle and your behavior, you could heal your organs. But, some people are so set in their ways, they refuse to change their lifestyle and behaviors, and will result in taking other people's.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Well, you heard the Sister Tamu. So, but, this hasn't just started, it really started in Kemet, or the land of the blacks is what people, what now is called Egypt. So Egypt, embalmers used to pull out the pharaohs, kings, and queens. They used to pull out their organs with special made embalming tools, and they would place them in canopic jars, right? And then, but they would design them with the animal-headed sons of the god Horus. So each son will watch over a different organ, and this is what the mummification process came about. And then they started to leave the canopic jars in the tombs for the rich, kings, queens, pharaohs, and it was left there for spiritual purposes. But then they got raided by outside invaders, and now, you see these mummies that are being made in front of, and now, they walking around killing people, these mummies who are pharaohs, kings, and queens to us. Right? So you laughing at something or being afraid of something that's was done for spiritual, or some people like to say religious purposes.
And
right?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that truth up because, yes, they were taking the organs out and they were putting them in the canopus jars, like how you said, and there was a very deep spiritual reason, and not only in Egypt but throughout the world, the ancient and indigenous people throughout the world knew that the organs were sacred, straight sacred. And just how you were saying, like they had the sun, the heads of the different aspects of Haru on the organs because they were trying to explain to people that there is an intelligent energy, there's intelligent spirit that operates in your organ, just like there's an intelligent spirit that makes our energy. If people out there are a little confused at me using the word spirit, you can also say the word energy. There's an intelligent energy that makes all of the organs in your body operate. There's an intelligent energy that makes the sun and the moon rise and set and travel throughout space. There's an intelligence behind it. And our ancient ancestors knew that there was an intelligence behind each organ. And in reverence for that intelligence, they put them and placed them in those canopic jars. That's why they did that. And even in that process of understanding that there was a deep spiritual connection inside our organs, that came up from deep down south into deep down, even past Nubia, parts of Africa. You know, taking out organs and understanding the sacredness is something that all humanity shares. Even you get into Taoism, which came from Egypt. You get into Taoism, there's special energy practices or special meditations you do per organ. Special sounds you say per organ. You know, the ancient ones all around the world, they had special what we would call gods that represented organs because they were trying to explain to you that there's this energy in this organ. This organ is actually holding your thoughts and your memories are being held in the organ. There's a book, brother, I just want to put out there. It's called The Heart's Code. It's a doctor who wrote that. His name is Paul Pearsall. He wrote a book called The Heart Code, and he talked about people who get heart transplants. They begin to take on the personality and attitudes of their donor. So wherever they got the heart from, they begin to take on that personality of that person because your organs hold your spirit, your personality. You know, he documented. He got a whole book documenting how the organ, how the people who receive the hearts, they change, they switch up, and their whole personality begins to switch because, again, your organs hold your memories. They hold genetic memories from past lives, from your family, you know, not just past lives, but from your grandparents and your great-grandparents, because we are our grandparents, our ancestors. And so I just want to express the deepness of what the organ is and how sacred it is and how they've been treated in ancient times. And for people to just be thieving them like this, you know, is out of alignment. Let me say that. It's out of alignment.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's forward the clock to now, right, where the organs now are being stolen and used for these vile and disgusting people to get rich. You know, because people need organs, right? So it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, young, old, black, Asian, Mexican, Indian, white. They're all selling your organs off piece by piece. And the only thing that comes out of their mouth is, you know, well, he or she doesn't need it anymore, so we'll sell it. So, and then you got to think about it. What gets me is, you know, you got to think about it, see, where the family members of that was in the past, like in the 1800s, 1900s, and even you know, to this day, right? Mm-hmm. When it's their time to go on that other side, you know, if you believe in a heaven or hell, if that's your thing, how many organs were stolen from them? How many young black boys and girls, right, who died, whether it be amongst violence, officers, an accident? How many organs were stolen from them before it really became known in the black community that they was actually harvesting more than anybody? Right.
Yeah. So there's a few stories about that. There's a few stories about people going to the hospital and ending up dead and their organs are removed. You know, there was a big case from your era from your era of the country. I think it was in Georgia maybe, where them boys, it was a bunch of young black boys who were coming up dead. And when they found them, their organs were missing.
Right. Because how many doctors, look, you got to think, how many doctors you see on a daily basis, right, that you support by going to these doctors and they do this, when you should know how to take care of yourself. You don't have to go and pay these people no money. But that's another story, right?
Yes, sir.
Then, you know, the thing is, like how you're saying in Georgia, you know, how many of these children, grown men and women, because of these hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis that we've had in these last few years, and the bodies that can't be found no more, where do you think those bodies went?
Exactly. Or the bodies that couldn't be identified. You know, they couldn't identify who this person belonged to. We don't know what they... The body is sacred, and this is not a sacred way in which to treat a human body at all.
I mean, they cut these people up, you know, cut them up and stuffing them with paper and plastic like they're in a grocery store line or something, you know? And like how you were saying about the one in Georgia, you know, the raping of these young men organs, you know, I'm not going to talk about about them stealing the organs no more. You know, what I'm going to say is, I wonder how they're going to start covering up now, because since people know now that they're stuffing your ancestors that passed that you will never ever see no more, who you think about almost on a daily basis, and how they're going to cover up now to take their organs, because people are going to start looking for that paper and that plastic that's going to be stuffed inside their family members now. That one little slice, you know, they're saying you never know what people are going to do at a funeral. So, but, you know. Yeah,
it's good that you're bringing it out. You know, it's good that we're talking about this because, you know, awareness is key. Awareness is key. You know, I always tell people don't ever go to the doctor alone. Always go with a person. Always go deep. Don't go anywhere by yourself. You know, you always want someone to have your back because who knows what they can say or do. How many times we done heard somebody go into the hospital for a checkup or for a simple reason and then they come back out?
Right.
You know, maybe they had the right blood type. Maybe they had the right blood type, you know, for somebody who was looking for an organ. So we just got to keep this stuff in mind.
Yeah, and it's the melanated ones that's really getting the organs taken from them. They have no idea because it's so dumbed down. But I'm going to read another quote. He who is not courageous enough to take risk will accomplish nothing in life. Muhammad Ali. You know? I mean, let's talk about the people that are in the process of these organ stealing. You have the recruiter, right? The person who looks for people who are weak-minded.
Right.
Then you have the coroner, someone who you'll never see. Then you have the medical staff, the doctors, the nurses, and then you got the most important person.
It sounds like what you think. Go ahead.
Then you got the most important person is the buyer, the person who actually needs it. But go ahead, sister. What were you saying?
Well, just listening to you, it goes back to the fact this is a consortium of people.
That's right.
It's a whole bunch of people that have to. This isn't. It's not a small operation. It can't be no one or two, three people. This has to be a consortium of people. A conspiracy, if you will. A group of people have to be in on this, starting from the up to the low. Like you said, the buyer all the way down to the person who's scouting the person out. You know. Then you know what? There's another movie Mel Gibson did not too long ago. I think it was called Get Gringo, where he ended up in a Mexican prison. And whoever was running the Mexican prison, he tested all the inmates because he needed a liver. So, I mean, sometimes people, there's truth in fiction. There's fact in fiction. You know,
true,
so I just wanted to point that out.
But, you have to look at it like this. You got so many blacks, men and women, that are in jail getting these experiments done on to them, right? Yep. Without their consent. So they're getting all these experiments done to them. Then all of a sudden they die. What do you think their organs go? The family don't know, right?
Don't know.
Why do you think they got so many private jails? Why do you think they got so many prisons coming up? melanated
I know
organs,
a friend of mine was telling
skin.
me, somebody was telling me their brother was arrested. And part of the procedure, once you get arrested, they do all these they do a DNA test. They do all these tests that have nothing to do, that seem outrageous, basically. They testing basically they do a whole physical on them. You know, to see, what are you doing the physical for? You know, it's just like, he was just telling me that. I was like, okay, I can see DNA tests, but they go beyond doing DNA tests. Mm-hmm. You know, they testing your blood type and all kind of other stuff that, just seems a little suspicious. If you just pulling somebody over, this is how you book them. You're not just booking. It's a whole physical. I can get a physical by being booked. I can find out if I have high blood pressure or cholesterol by being booked. What's going on?
Yeah, they do that. Yeah. But the process of people so much worrying about the past, about the what was the Tuskegee? Not the Tuskegee. Was it the Tuskegee experiment?
Where they did the experiment on the brothers, the syphilis experiment.
Yeah, where they did this. Right, the syphilis experiment. Right, I said the Tuskegee. Yeah, it was. Right. So the syphilis experiment. You're
right. Miss Everboy. You see Miss Everboy in the movie.
But they do that to these young brothers and sisters in jail. But see, they're so dumbed down since children and the families are just as dumbed down as them because they're older, right? And they're stuck in their ways, so they're not trying to learn anything. And by the time they get in there, it's over with. And that's why you still have a steady a recycling of black inmates going in and out, because so many experiments have been done on them, and they don't even know that their organs are being tested on, just so new medicines, and that's why you always have these new medicines coming out. See, people don't understand that.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because I was just listening to the news radio yesterday, and they were saying how there's some funding put aside to discover new diseases before they become a threat. So you have to read between the lines when people start saying stuff. You got to read between the lines. They're discovering new diseases before they become a threat.
Right.
That don't make sense. Who they discovering these new diseases on? Just questions.
I already know. Plus they have organ banks. Organ banks. I wonder how many of our brothers and sisters are in those banks or they're selling. So you think slavery was just bad? What can you say when you're dead? Man. So I'm going to get to another quote because we only have 2 minutes left. Sorry, but, our show is only 30 minutes. I did take the blows of life, but I took them with my chin up in dignity because I profoundly love and respect humanity. Quote, author unknown. So just to let you know, there are millions of people who need organs, right? Rich and poor. And the rich are willing to pay millions to live longer because you always hear people saying, I want to be the longest one to live. They want to be God. So you guys got to learn to stop laughing at everything. Stop taking things for granted. You have to watch, become knowledgeable, empower your black bank accounts, uplift your knowledge, and take advantage of your land. And if you want to go into it more about black organs, there's a couple of websites that you can go on, or you could read a couple of books on it. But the good brother, Dick Gregory, he has a YouTube clip called Black Market for Black Organs. And that's not no lie. It's something really, really going in our community, and we really, really have to be aware of this. And it really hurts me to see.
And it's not only here; it's international, brother. Let them know it's international. They testing. Right. They testing on the brothers here. They testing on brothers and sisters in Nigeria, throughout Africa, in Bangladesh. They testing melanated people. They're testing us, trying to harvest our organs and test diseases on us. So let's just make it clear: it's an international threat.
So well, we're just gonna say hotep, and we love y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Peace.
Power in the melanin.